Innermost Hand, from the German of Rainer Maria Rilke. Hand's intimate part, soul that runs no more but by feeling, that, facing upwards, mirroring, takes in heavenly streets, alike wandering, that has learned to scale water when it scoops, that springs from wells, a shifter of every shape, that steps into other hands, turning its kind into landscape, wanders, arrives in them, fills them with arrival. Grooving. This music goes a long way back, before the needle coasted in its groove on your grandfather's black vinyl, before the bow sang from valleys in the flexed saw blade of his grandfather, before ancient breath fluted from the vent hole's ancient tools notched in the small vaulted roof of a hollow bone, back to where a flintstone burin etched silent scales into softer stone, or to the beach where a pointed fragment of shell gave the hand's airy motions a home in driftwood, the way the waves in their ins and outs hold the rhythm of the wind's breath. This hand makes music with the world around it, but not without an instrument, chisel or gouge to transpose the mind's notations to the range of pith and grain, wood pushing against the carver's flexed wrist, retorting, giving back its own resonance to the tuning body, duet of earthbound songsters that becomes a trio when, long after the woodshed stills, you run your finger over the carving, thrill to the flutings, and you're in the groove. Flight plans. Apollo doesn't get it, e.g. the god's hissy fit, pitched when Marsyas's flute outsang his immortal lute, and payback for fine playing was that poor satyr's flaying. Here his hand, reaching to catch a bit of maidenly snatch, is met with Daphne's rough bark instead of her thigh's theme park. Shock at finding the door so shut shudders through his torso, while Bernini's having fun at the god's consternation by sculpting two little stones which look like lost cojones on the ground beside his heel as divine toe bumps tree bole, and by hinting Apollo is unable to follow the laurel's evolution through one more substitution. Daphne's fingers, grown thinner than mere leaves, will begin her career in the air, feathered and not, as he thinks, tethered, and launched from the tree trunk's pad, not sad, never to be had by him. With full throat she sings, her spread branches turned to wings. Keys for the Homeless. This Alice, lacking a wonderland, will keep the keys to apartments for the soul, finger them on the propped, legless trunk of a piano, and turn them over rent-free to 300 tenants camping every week on wooden benches from which, forbidden to leave, they rise to explore Chopin's rooms. The key of C minor opens 10-12, where all their upheavals are played out, jackbooted troopers mimed by a left-hand rampage through the piano's basement, screams of the displaced transposed into the right hand's cross-rhythmed refusal to turn itself into blunt instrument or paw, insistence persisting even through the final forced march down to oblivion. Pain made nearly bearable by the fingers that, tensed and cramped from splitting mica all day in a dank work hut, flutter over the ivories, like moths night has released from torpor, spread wings climbing, untrammeled through the low ceiling to 25-1, where the key of A-flat major unlocks a room filled with waves unfurling from an unseen harp, steadily as from a heart's strong tide, to lift souls up from human bodies into the only earthly home they will know. Oh, not the open hellmouth of a scream, not the silent pearl's closed circle. This wordless oh the potter tosses hand to hand, spins on her wheel into a cylinder as the treadle wheel of earth draws us all into fit vessels for the ever-spillable. This oh, endowed with innerness, will, when caught in a kiln on the path from clay to glass, hold its pose midway between bricky thick and airy not there. Porcelain, wall of white that light sees through, all flesh's effort to escape its muddy beginnings and bleach itself to sheerest angel wing, fulfilled in an O, the stilled wave of its contour. But oh, not now. Now she embraces its changes, her hands engaged in kinetic conversation with the jug's moist lip, her fingers like a barn swallow's wings dipping and banking in answer to the unvoiced consonants of curve and glide, navigating with tactile insight the flux's momentary affirmations, before slow drying and kiln fire freeze its rapids. Yet even then the white messenger will keep speaking to other hands, telling them by feel where her thumbnail notched the rim in sign language, a breakable annunciation. A dance of life. The heels you sway on here are those of the hands, while feet stand firmly anchored unless the music works its way down through your body, and the gentle rocking movement loosens knotted bones into the grace of water weeds dreaming on the current's pulse. Calm in the in and out of palms and fingers as they push and fold back the dough on the floured board, turning it over on itself like sea waves engaged in the non-stop marathon dance that first brought life to the land. And now your hands respond to the life within this partner, moment by moment less clay than spirited flesh, perfuming the room's air with the yeast scent of the sea, which becomes one with you when you inhale, and if, after your hands have rounded and stroked the shoulder of the loaf, you kiss your fingers, they'll taste sweet, though not with the sustaining sweetness that in the afterlife of the dough, beyond the dark warmth and the rising, your tongue will know when it dances through the hundreds of oval-domed sea caves in new bread.